Great, thanks for joining us. Okay, so this is the Invisible Man, Bigfoot Collective, and CERN. So, I don't know. Maybe this is just a conspiracy theory. But for some of us, we might be feeling some of the CERN vibes going on right now. Whatever it is not, these are not normal. Whatever the timelines they're trying to force into our reality, it's not clear at all. This month does not feel normal, and last month didn't feel so great either. But they're definitely screwing with everything they can screw with, whoever they are. They is the astral controllers, or whatever you want to call them. What's a good word? What is it? Oh, it's the Care Bears from the screwed up dimension, screwed up Care Bears from some messed up reality. Something like that. So, not that we're going to have a whole lot of answers on what's happening. Not likely, so you have to figure it out. It feels like it will unfold itself in this month, but I guess we'll find out. Whatever it is that's here to reveal about ourselves and reality, and who knows. So the Invisible Man, I don't think I've ever connected to the Invisible Man before. I've done time travelers, I've done people in the future. But the Invisible Man, I don't think I've ever. I guess I could have done the Invisible Woman, but you always hear about the Invisible Man, so something different. Why not, right? The War of the Rings, I don't know if that connected to anybody, or that one was just, I guess it's getting more popular right now. I don't know. I just feel like now is the time for it. It's not for everybody, obviously. And then Bigfoot as energy, I believe many are strongly connected to. So this might be more of a Bigfoot connection than it is an Invisible Man. I'm not sure how much Invisible Man has to say. They do exist. They, the whole story about, something goes wrong and then they disappear or whatever it might be that causes it. The funny thing about the Invisible Man story, at least in the Chevy Chase movie, or I guess it's in the original. I've never seen the original. At least the movie version. I don't know, is there a book out there? But the guy was already invisible already. His life, he pretty much didn't exist as it is. And so when he became invisible, it was like, who's going to notice? Some of us already have that ability already. I know I probably have it. So multidimensional Invisible Man energies, Bigfoot, and CERN. Who knows? Maybe some of this maybe that's what they're doing at CERN. They're doing all kinds of things over there. None of it seems good. It's just that whole project, just a little bit of it. None of it feels right. They shouldn't be doing any of it. Just the concept of it doesn't feel healthy, and yet they built the thing. Was this millions of dollars into a creature that should not even exist? But whatever, right? What are you gonna do? CERN should not be here at all. It's definitely screwing with stuff. And then the scientists laugh and all that about what it's doing, but it's like, first off, a lot of them are third dimensional thinkers anyway. So whatever. They're just laughing off until a third arm grows out of their chest or something like that, or whatever it is. They're not going to tell us what's happening there, or they just start going crazy. So something's up. I've been feeling the pressure for a while now, and that's ever since CERN has been activated. So ever since CERN's been activated, things have not been right in the universe. So I just put it that way. Maybe not everybody can feel it, but they're just messing with everything. They can do whatever they feel, and then they say they're not doing anything when they are. So just knowing what it is, obviously on the astral level, we know what they're doing. On a physical level, maybe especially don't know what they're doing. I guess we'll find out eventually. It feels like this month, because we don't have much of this month left. It's not clear if this is all going to start unlocking this month. It's really hard to say. It feels like some of our brains are turning into noodle salad. So it's really, if some feel like there's a calm before the storm or something like that, or we're on some kind of, something's on its way, whatever it might be. It's not clear if it's China, the war with China, because the war drums on that kind of cooled down a little bit. Not to say nothing will happen there, but it feels like it's cooled currently. So who knows? We'll just wait and see. Like I say, sometimes best we just don't know. And eventually we'll know. So I'm talking about combat prep sessions. Got a scheduler, got a shop here. I didn't get to do a whole lot because I had a webinar today. My energy is shot. Hopefully I feel better tomorrow. Same situation here, webinar. Next week, social network and behind the scenes. Yeah, I didn't post the link to the show there, but either way, it's in the Telegram app. The links to this is in Telegram, just in case YouTube decides to pull the plug. Again, it should be okay. Unless they start going after Invisible Man or Bigfoot or CERN. Obviously, the politics in the future. Yeah, if there's something I truly need to bring up, like I feel like I need to go into, I'll just do it on Rumble. I'll just send it, but nothing really critical. I'm going to stay out of it for the most part. I say that now. Unless they start banning like anything that you say. I can see them doing that. So, okay, all right. So, Invisible Man, Bigfoot, and Sarah. Like I say, Bigfoot energies. I haven't revealed what I've been tapping into, but when I started connecting to that, I'll just let them. Sometimes I tap into before, and then when I channel them, it's like totally different. But either way, we'll see with Bigfoot to go into that real quick. At least when I was tapping into it. So first off, I never talk about them, so that says something. So maybe they're like outside or something like that. If you're wondering where the cats are, they're sleeping somewhere, or they're over there. But they're just completely out of it. What I should be right now. They're doing what I should be doing, sleeping. The Bigfoot energies, just nature is sometimes not safe. There's obviously ships in the skies usually, but when people get lost in nature, there is usually a ship in the area, something around those lines. There's just a lot of activity. Yeah, nature is basically a giant portal, basically. So, all right, here we go to the unknown. So, I'm not sure if this Invisible Man energy is going to go into a whole lot, but we'll see. We'll see if they'll break out like something from Plato or something like that. All right, Greetings to you. We are the Invisible Man consciousness. Well, yes, there is an invisible woman, invisible people, invisible insects, cats, dogs, invisible everybody. Well, yes, the Invisible Man is, you can say it's a philosophy of the soul, a soul that has truly deleted itself from reality. And obviously there are realms where that does happen. It's more like a higher fourth dimensional reality. Now you can say it happens on your world. We're not going to go into those details. Let you figure that one out for yourselves. But There are higher dimensional worlds, not too high, but just a tad over your reality, at least in the fourth dimensional reality. Let's put it that way. Well, it's still the same like yours, but you can create a invisible man serum in your garage or wherever if you're into chemistry. You can also create werewolf beings. You can also create vampire beings. Maybe not to the extent of the actual vampire, but and these are not exactly horror. I mean, yes, they might seem as horror movies because some that go through those situations, it might be, especially with a werewolf lifetime, because werewolf serums can be created, not easily. Yeah, realize that's very complicated when you think about it. But it's kind of like reversing a human's DNA where they just turn into a freak. So let's put it that way. It's like the canine energy just unleashes itself. Let's put it that way. For a invisible man, it's basically like to make this weird for some of you, it's like if you really want to disappear, some of you will find a way to make it happen. Literally. You'll manifest it. Truly. Now, obviously, some of you or all of you are not going to experience that. Take a serum and all of a sudden you're gone. Not likely. Now, does that exist on your world? I don't believe it does, but it could. You have enough problems as it is. But there are worlds where it definitely does exist. And once again, where a person to find something like that, to experience that, first off, they're usually not the ones inventing it. They might know somebody or just a circumstance, but they manifest themselves in those situations where that type of the chemical that creates the visibility ends up on just the right person and then they're gone. And the life of being invisible, first of all, usually it comes to people that already are invisible. Now, those that like with someone like this, like they have a lot of friends and now they're invisible, that is true torture. Because first off, you can hear the person, you just can't see them. And that can really cause a lot of psychological abuse to someone. Because if you're very social and now you're not seen, that hurts. But if you're already invisible, vanishing is really, not that big of a deal. I mean, it is a big deal, but it sounds kind of messed up, but you can kind of make it work. Now, there is truth to this where now this might come into your reality where people that are turned invisible can be used with the government. There is energies like that. Now, does that exist in your world? We'll just let you connect to that one. But yes, it can have government connections. Yes, they create invisible people, and they do their espionage. Now, is that happening in your world? Well, we're not seeing that, but it could be, but we're not aware of it. Not that it's going to affect any of you, but obviously some of you would much rather vanish for good. We don't have to worry about what you look like anymore because it's gone now. And talk about really seeing yourself, going into seeing how, first off, getting attention. People, and you really get in touch with who you are. It's like if you're invisible and you're trying to get attention of like friends and they're just like, wow, you're a real asshole. It's like, yeah, you're right about that, aren't you? You really get in touch to who you are. So a lot of times you don't see it. So there is definitely a soul contract. It definitely does exist. Like I said, in your reality, we're not really seeing it, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. We're not here for that. So, like, is this going to be like some life-changing energy for some of you? So one of the reasons why we're here is for some of you that might feel like you've been through situations like this in some kind of reality, and some of you might still feel like you're living it, meaning you might have had a life of invisibility in another lifetime, and you're here and you feel like no one still sees you. And that doesn't mean that's not true. And some of you do remote viewing. You might connect to our reality where it's like, wow, I just saw that person vanish just like that. Either they take something and you're injected by it, or, you know, a force of nature makes you disappear. Usually it's some kind of chemical that's great, but there's all different ways. Yeah, the government can be just spraying some kind of chemical in the air through a plane, and it somehow disconnects your DNA, and then you vanish. It doesn't now there are places to go even further, yes, where cities have vanished and so on. Not that that's happening on your world. Maybe it is. That's for you to connect with. Yeah, you can get into a strange world with this, can't you? Not that they're not trying it on your world. They most certainly are. And they don't care what they do to people when they test these things out. Now, if your government's doing it, which most likely it is at a certain level, not that we can prove it physically, they're weaponizing it, of course. What great spy. I mean, this is like a spy that obviously can easily go rogue on a government entity. Obviously, you can have something placed into them to keep an eye on, like a tracker. But even that, they can find their way around that one. But that's like they don't make many movies about invisible spies, because what fun is that? It's like the person's invisible the whole time. Tom Cruise, you can get a talking ape and make a movie out of that instead. You don't need a huge movie star or something like that. But if you want to go further into it, yes, there are invisible societies, invisible worlds. That's been, that, you can get really weird with it. And why would something like this exist? It's part of existence. Now, why the invisible man energy was ever tapped into to begin with? It's because, yes, those people are here, meaning people have experienced that. It's kind of like, yeah, it's a horror situation. It depends on the person it affects, but it can really drive you insane. Because people can't see you anymore. They can hear you. Obviously, they don't usually like you, because usually it happens to pretty terrible people. And you really get in touch with yourself. And it's not pretty. I mean, this is one way of really going into yourself. And it's just horrible. So, and a lot of these invisible people don't normally live very long after it's occurred. It all depends on the situation. Some can live for, the duration of a life too. Yeah, be nice and old and invisible, living in a shack somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and nobody. It's like, every once in a while I see a newspaper walking around. I see a pipe smoking itself. That's a little strange. But other than that, nobody lives in that log cabin. Every once in a while I might hear the radio coming from it, but maybe it's just a ghost. So one of the reasons, we coming through is, why not everyone else has come through? Everyone's talked about their spilled their guts, you can say. Time travelers do it all the time. Invisible people, it's not as flashy. It's not that well known, but it does exist in other dimensions. Let's put it that way. Not to say it doesn't it does affect your world, but it's maybe not as exciting. I mean, if you have a time traveling invisible person, which is another horror when you think about it, because first of all, nobody can see you. You're truly being experimented on. It can be reversed. Like, we're not going to bring you back until you do this mission. And yes, it can be assassination missions and things like that. It can be kind of messed up, but really, if you want to dive into it. So we'll just leave you with that. Now, if there are experiments like this that do exist here, most likely. Greetings to you. We are the Bigfoot or Sasquatch frequency. Yes, many of you are, of course, connected to our energy fields Yes, of a lighter nature, especially being that was here earlier. The Bigfoot energy just basically it's just another version of human. Yes, we do walk through portals, we do open up dimensions for your Earth, even for Earth to heal, we do connect to Mother Nature. You can see some of us are we won't even want to use the word trapped here, but we see this world as our home also. And we do want to connect to humans, help humans understand nature, your future, your reality. We can easily go into the future. We don't have your human characteristics, so we can see what nature can see, but through a human perspective. Because we basically look like you to a certain level, not entirely, but basically it's like we're the human animal. So we're a Sasquatch with fur usually, and we just see multidimensionally very easily, just like an average animal, cat, dog, bird, whatever it might be. We're just in human form. And that can be kind of stressful depending on our experience, meaning we can see too much. We can also see, I wouldn't call it the downfall of humanity, but we can see the dark side of humanity from other dimensions, other realities very easily. And that's why some Bigfoot might get kind of frustrated with humanity, especially when they see how the misuse of this reality. Meaning that some Bigfoot can see where humans really, another version of Earth where humans took this world to a whole nother level. It's almost like reading a novel. And then the Sasquatch can remember that, come back to your reality, and be kind of frustrated with humanity. So it's just like going to another dimension is like reading a book. You're taken to another place. And nature itself is a portal, basically. Anything connected to nature, like a leaf, like a little tree, we can connect to its frequencies, read the Earth's energy very easily, and even transport to where we want to go. Usually, nature is there for us to teleport, and we can do it on our own, but sometimes it's better just to have nature's energy. Of course, you're walking on the ground, you're walking on grass, nature is everywhere, technically, right? So that's how we teleport our energy fields. And basically, we're just synchronized with the Earth's energy field. It's just the way we are. Now, not all Sasquatch are like that. Some Sasquatch do have ships. They use the technology of their ships because not everybody's going to be the same. It doesn't mean one's better than the other. It's just not everyone's the same. Some of you wear sunglasses, some of you don't. Some of you grow a beard, some of you don't. Everyone has their own way. It doesn't mean technology is a bad thing. Some might see it that way. But some rather use technology that haven't quite evolved their DNA to where they can teleport themselves. So using technology is just easier. It's kind of like using a cell phone. They're just not there yet. And do they even want to go there? Not everybody is, it's not for everybody. The higher dimensions are not, some might say that's the place to be, but you also lose a lot. You lose the emotion. You don't have this human experience. So those that the Sasquatch use technologies, which are many, they feel like they're a little bit more connected to humanity. And some do get frustrated. Once again, they're connected to humanity. Some of them can get kind of mad at humans. But they're brothers and sisters. They have issues too. It's just different, but there's a lot of similarities to it. So it's just not to be some at the higher dimensions can be so disconnected from humans. And that's not always a bad thing because we just see things easier. We can heal the situation of your world, but your world's not always ready to be healed, as you can see. And it has the lessons it's here to go through. And obviously, some humans are hunting. Sasquatch, of course, every Sasquatch knows about that. And we can feel the intentions. We can feel your intentions a mile away. When you're connected to nature, you're on the world. You have a tree near you. You have grass near you. You have some kind of nature's everywhere. So we can pick up on your frequencies without trying. And the aliens can do that also, but with a Sasquatch, we can do it much easier than them. Well, it all depends, but we all have our own characteristics. But as a Sasquatch being, we feel like this is our home. So it depends on the Sasquatch. Some are aliens to your world, but some of us are just your brothers and sisters, as some of you know. Brings to you. We got a CERN consciousness. There is a lot of selfishness within the CERN community. Well, the technology, timelines being built, yes. There are some aliens that want to create a better world for you. And there is a little bit of a struggle going on of where your world needs to go. Mother Earth, of course, is always involved. But sometimes she just says, just do whatever you want with the place. We'll survive it no matter what happens. She can't always decide where things are going to go. Well, because the human collective, but she is always here. Rain, snow, intergalactic war, she's here. And humans begin to acknowledge her energy more. Many of you are doing so. More of you will continue to do so. Some of you will begin to see her when you absolutely need to. If you have a relationship with her, she will be seen as a human, most likely. She can show up as a bird. She can show up as anything. But of course, CERN technologies, CERN is still figuring itself out. It is making a lot of aliens very mad. Because, yes, many alien beings feel it does not need to exist. It has no purpose here. It's still causing. It's similar to like interfering with your world, like World War II, but it's using technology. So it's doing things a little bit differently. Without war, it's doing it, it's changing timelines in a different way. And some of you are very sensitive, so you're feeling the effects of it. Not to say it's going to be a cause of a cataclysm of your world, but it is interfering. And some of you are part of the alien collectives to end its interference. But it also has a purpose for human collective energies. And it's not necessarily part of this timeline that's coming in, but it's not helping either. Well, it wants to be more liked, less controversy, more accepted. And obviously, that's not going to happen because the soul of CERN is not really there. It's more self serving. And you can connect to the scientists, obviously. A lot of the scientists are kind of disconnected from reality. I mean, they're just not. I mean, you look at them, it's like, a lot of these scientists probably feel like they're almost artificial intelligence. Some of them are. They don't know how it feels to be human. A lot of them were born, went to college, and that was it. Human interaction, another program. It's just another program. That's pretty vanilla. That's not exactly very emotional, but that's how it's probably worse than that. But the CERN energies are, yes, being, I won't call it blacklisted by alien beings, but the aliens have it under control, yes. But it does affect your reality. Some of you feel it. It's going to bring you a false reality, not likely, but there is a lot of timelines trying to become part of your main timeline. So there's like at least 10 timelines that want to be your main timeline that have not been chosen just yet. You can say you're doing intergalactic voting currently, at least astral voting, and you might not always like the results. When it's going to occur, you'll know when it happens. That's all we can say with that. But now, if CERN deactivates or leaves your planet, obviously that shows that you have won. But just the deactivation of it will help a great deal. But it's they're enjoying it too much. So just with it running causes a lot of difficulties here. Now, obviously, when it does the collider, it really causes some difficulties here, but you'll survive. It just causes a wave in the vibrations. Like I say, most won't feel it, some of you will. And so overall, yeah, it's not worry about it. If you want to worry about it, that's fine. But with like your September, it will calm itself down. But right now, it's having a blast. And some of you feel it.